What's up, family and friends? We are so excited to be back with you guys tonight.
You do seem a little bubbly.
Just a little bit?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Good to see y'all.
Yes, I know. It's been a while since we're out here talking to our peoples, huh?
Well, we just talked to them last week. Or was it the week before last?
No, we haven't done a live in a while.
Well, yes, but we told them we were coming.
Remember me telling you that I did not?
Yes, we sure did. Okay.
So as you're coming on, fam, let us know where you are joining in from. Thank you for those that are going to be watching the rebroadcast later. We are so excited about the great things that are transpiring within Marriage Evolves. There are upcoming events that we're actually getting ready to plan. There are some things that we're getting ready to do as far as merchandise, and then some curriculums that we're working on.
We want to give them a little snippet on that merch, or we're going to say that for later?
No, go ahead, get a little snippet.
Well, as y'all can see, this is one of the items.
One of them.
Just one of many we got coming out. It's our tagline. Who are we? We're two hearts, one team with one purpose. That's right. So these are sweatshirts we got. Got some hoodies out, some t-shirts. Keep your eyes out on our website. They're going to be popping up real soon.
Yes. So we're going to welcome those that are coming on. Tidra, what's up, Tidra? Thank you so much for joining us. And Misha, what's up, cousin? Thank you all for joining us on tonight. And there are other people that are coming on in other areas too. So what we're going to do is we're not going to prolong any longer and get into, what are we talking about?
We're talking about hope and faith. Hope and faith. That's right.
What was you getting ready to say?
I'll get ready to say something else.
No, we're talking about hope
and faith.
That's
right. That's right.
In marriage.
Yes.
Because a lot of times, please let me know if I'm overstepping my boundaries, if I'm talking too much. Okay.
We'll bring it back in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of times in relationships, we have had, there were moments that we didn't have any hope or faith in thinking that our relationship would get any better. Well,
before we even cut into the faith portion, I would say the first portion about having hope, because there were some moments it was like, you know what? I ain't happy in this situation. I don't want this situation anymore. I don't see it. I'll never forget back in those days, early years, when I used to be sitting outside on my porch and a couple of our mentors, one in particular, would come by. We were neighbors, and he would come home and say, man, what's going on? Why are you sitting out here on the stairs? How was your day? I was like, brother, I don't want to be mad no more. And he would laugh and like, man, if you could only see what I see. I said, it ain't funny. First of all, and two, I don't see what you see. I didn't have a sense of hope that our future could get better because all I was focused on was the problems and the issues that we were having at that moment.
You sure were. Mm-hmm. And I tell you, it was really rough because I was making a lot of mistakes at the time.
We both were
making a lot of mistakes at the time. And then there was a point in our relationship where I didn't think that I didn't have any hope, thinking that things would get better. Mm-hmm. And it was to the point to where we were literally living in the same house, but we were roommates.
Yes, we were. She packed up her stuff.
I sure
went
did.
Down the hallway to the guest bedroom.
I sure did.
And we lived like roommates for a while.
Quite some time. And I was still cooking.
We laugh about it now because it's funny now. But back then it was like, what the mess is going on up in here?
Yes, but we didn't have any hope at those moments.
No, we didn't.
And then when you're talking about not even having faith, it was kind of hard for me to even imagine, God, can you really change this situation? Can you really make this thing better? Because I don't see it. Yes. And I didn't even have faith that God would change the situation. But here we are 26 years later, mm-hmm. and he actually not only changed it,
flipped it.
You remember when the pastor had told us that God was going to do a 190-degree turn?
180.
Huh?
180.
Okay, 180, 190, whatever.
Still got a
Anyway.
little jet lag from all that travels.
Oh my God, yes. It's so good to be back home.
Yeah, it's good to have you back.
Yes.
Mhm.
So the pastor had told us that God was going to do 180-degree turn in our relationship. And at the time, I didn't see it.
No. Matter of fact, I remember that because he called us out and called us up to the front. And I'm looking at him like, whatever. And I didn't say it, but I just had that look on my face. And I know you could see it in the corner of your eye because you probably had that same look. Like, I hear you talking, man, but no, this is not happening. We cannot see it. We can't fathom it. We
Nope.
can't even understand what it is that you're saying clearly to us, because not only was our faith level not there, but I think we were at the point to where we were so ready to call it quits that we didn't want it to go forward.
Better yet, we were at the point to where both of us were wanting to get a divorce, but neither one of us knew that we were going to go and file the papers for divorce. Yeah, who would have ever thought? So we say all of that to come here today to give you some tools and steps on how to regain your hope and faith, because it is possible.
Yes, it is.
If you do one requirement.
What is that?
Believe.
Believe what? You know, I got to go with you. Come on, believe what?
Believe that God can do it. You have to believe.
Believe that God can do it.
I couldn't do it.
No, I couldn't do it in my own strength either. I had to, first of all, for me, I had to submit and yield to God. Now, mind you, we both was in the ministry serving, actively serving in the church. So,
and actively acting up.
Actively acting up, yes, that is absolutely correct. You know, I had to yield to what the Holy Spirit was showing me and telling me to do to get my marriage and my house right.
Yes, me too, because it was ugly. So let's get into
the
steps of regaining hope and faith. Now, while we are talking, if you all have questions, please put your questions in the chat room and we will definitely address your questions and give you what it is that you came in here for tonight. So number one, I like to do definitions and give explanation of things. And this is one definition for hope: an expectation or desire for a sure thing to happen. To cherish a desire with anticipation. So the first thing that I would say is, for hope, you have to have an expectation, and you also have to have that desired anticipation. Even though you may see with your natural eye right now, can this get any better? Will this get any better? Is he going to change? Is she going to change? Will I ever be able to get married? Is there somebody out there for me? Even though you don't see that right now, you have to still hold on and have that hope and say, I have an expectation that there is somebody out there for me, and that my relationship can also do 180-degree turn. What do you say, Dave?
I was just going to say, because when you said that expectation, it is a divine expectation of a confident expectation, a divine guarantee. And let me scratch that, correct myself. A divine guarantee of a confident expectation. That's what that hope is. When, especially when we rest our hope in God. Let me say that one more time. When you put your hope and you rest your hope in God, that he can work through your situation, that he can work through your spouse, it is a divine guarantee on a confident expectation.
On a confident expectation.
Yes.
So in other words, in order for you to regain hope and to have that faith, you have to be confident and know that it can change.
Yes, but you have to trust God first.
Oh yeah.
Because if you don't trust that God can do it, then it's like, hey, that's a hope.
You do. But one of the steps, and I'm going to go back to this other one. Faith. The definition of faith is complete trust or confidence. There goes that word again. Confidence in someone, in this case, in your spouse, your mate, or in God, that he will bring you the mate that you're looking for and desiring. And belief and trust and loyalty to God, knowing that he will bring and replenish that hope and faith that you're looking for. So what are the step number one?
Making adjustments.
So wait. So you mean to tell me that if, in order for me to regain hope and faith, I have to make some adjustments?
Yes, you have to make an adjustment. Just like I made an adjustment in our relationship when I started shifting by yielding to what the Holy Spirit was showing me and telling me. I had to get out of myself. I had to change the way I talked, the way I responded to you. I had to change the way I viewed you and viewed us in our marriage relationship. I started off making the adjustments because God told me, if you want to see changes in your house, remain faithful to the things of me. If you want to see change in your marriage, remain faithful to the things of me and start exercising and yielding to what I'm showing you and telling you to do things differently.
And then for me, I believe, well, I don't believe, I know I had to make adjustments in my thought process, in my mindset, and how I was thinking, because I had a negative stinking thinking. And a lot of times we don't realize that's what's keeping us from having that hope and faith, is because we're always focused so much on the negative of what's not happening, what I don't see, more so than what can happen and what can be seen if we adjust our perspective and our mindsets, correct?
That's correct. Let me throw this in here because you have the scripture in here, because I know I like to throw these scriptures to y'all. Hebrews 11:1. For those of you that are in the word in the church, y'all know this scripture very well. Hebrews 11:1. And I'm going to hit it from the amplified version, which is my favorite one. It says, now faith is the assurance. The title.
Wait. Hold on. We can't go too fast, babe.
Oh, I'm going to repeat it.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to come back around to it.
Okay.
But I want to get it out first.
Okay.
Now faith is the assurance, title deed, confirmation of things hoped for, divinely guaranteed. And I must pause right there.
Well, listen, I'm going to take some information that I just received from this business conference that I just came back from. And the individual specifically said something about now. Now means currently in this state of where you are.
Yes.
Not later, not here, yonder, later on down. But current.
The now
season. Meaning now faith is. So you're basically, the word is basically saying, I now have to have that hope and faith and confidence in God to know that He is going to currently do it now.
He's going to change.
He's going to change the situation as I make adjustments.
Even has that funkiness, the way I come off on you, He's going to change that.
He's still going to make the adjustments and changes now, because it said now faith
Even with that attitude that I give you all the time, He's going to change that.
Even with all of your ugliness, yes, at times.
Even with the bad decisions I've made.
We get the point, babe.
I don't know, cool. Sometimes we got to be there because some folk might be dealing with that.
You're right. You are absolutely correct. Yes, even if the ugliness has gotten to the point to where we're not even having conversation. I don't even want to look at you. I don't even want to talk to you. I don't have two words for you. Or either when the situation is, I have been sleeping around, I have been dating this person, dating that person, and is God still going to be able to do it even now? Even after I have done what I've done? Yes, He will.
Let me shift it a little bit, because I know we talked about a lot of those hot points, but let's shift it into another perspective. What about if you and your spouse are trying to get consummate and have a baby?
Oh, yes.
And fertility is an issue, or some health areas is an issue there. Even now faith, what you're saying is a divine guarantee that God can come through for that situation for you, because we've seen it, we've experienced it.
Oh, yes,
we got testimony upon testimony with those that have tried and have gone through so many different avenues and channels, and God allowed it to happen on their behalf.
Matter of fact, we just have a recent friend of ours that just gave us a testimony of that just recently. But this is where talking about now faith is a substance of things hoped for and the evidence of not seen. So that's where the hope comes in at, because you cannot currently see it, even though God is saying, now I will do it. Now I will change them. Now I will bring him or her because you're ready. Now I will be able to add on to your life. Now I will be able to do what I want to do in your marriage because both of you have made adjustments.
Yes.
So again, in the steps of regaining hope and faith, number one is making adjustments. So let's
let me
go
throw
into
this. Let me throw this in there too.
baby.
Before slow it down, girl. Slow it down.
Baby.
Slow it down.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go back to Hebrews 11:1. I know you're ready to pop it off, but Hebrews 11:1 from the Message version. Okay, the fundamental fact, the fundamental fact of existence is that this trust in God, this faith, is the firm foundation. The firm foundation under everything that makes life worth living. Do I need to repeat that?
Wow. So, wow.
Fundamental fact of existence that the trust in God, our trust in God, my trust in God, your trust in God, your trust in God is a firm foundation under everything that makes life worth living.
So even if I am not a believer in God, even if I am a believer and I'm struggling with hope and faith, if I go before God and ask God to help me, it is going to be one of those firm founded things to where He, now faith, can restore my faith.
Yes, He can.
Restore my hope.
But remember, like I said, based on how much you trust Him to do it too. Just like it just said.
Yeah.
Existence in the trust in God.
Yeah. So let's move on to number 2.
I know you're ready to pop it off.
Yeah, number 2 is you have to, as I stated earlier, which is a prerequisite, is what I'll call it, is you have to believe again. I understand because we've been to the point to where we did not believe things would get better. Roderick did not believe that I would one day know how to handle finances, which was a rough thing. It was one of those things to where he had to believe, and I had to believe when we were at our worst, when infidelity showed its face. We had to believe that we would be able to move from there to where we are now, sitting here sharing these points and tools with you.
As the best of friends. Come on now.
Come on.
Yes.
And can't nobody come in between that.
Bond.
A bond, because we believed and God restored our hope and faith in Him and in each other.
And we made those adjustments that we just talked about.
Yes, the adjustments. And so number 2, again, is believe. And let me just share this with you. It says, believe again. There is such a thing called agency thinking. Defined as the motivation to pursue goals and the belief in one's ability to achieve them. The same goes for regaining your hope and faith back. It would be best if you created hope within yourselves through motivation in the pursuits of hope and faith in your marriage, or believing what you're expecting God to do.
Now, all that just sounded really wonderful and fine, but you still had me at the part when you said agency thinking. I don't know how many of y'all out there probably have that same thought, but go ahead and break that down. What is that?
Agency thinking is you having the mindset to believe God for hope and faith for your job, for everything else except your relationship, or except what you're expecting of Him to do in regards to finding you a mate so you two can become one. That's agency thinking. It's limited. Yes.
So in other words, let me put it down in a little more layman's term. I'm thinking based off of my now situation more than the hope and faith I need to have in God for my situation.
Correct.
I'm looking more at the natural than I am at the spiritual situation.
Correct.
That can shift and change.
Yes. And that's where the most important ingredient comes into play, is when you believe in the spirit realm, that from the spirit, God will manifest it in the natural, what it is that He can do. And that is restore your hope and faith in your relationship.
Yes.
And in Him to bring you what you're desiring. So y'all can't tell me that you can do marriage, relationship, or anything without God. Because if you're trying to do it without God, you're going to always fall back into your defaulted ways of thinking and living. So I recommend, well, we both recommend, please do not have a relationship or marriage or get into a relationship or marriage without having God as your agent.
Mm.
Because without that agent, you will be lost.
Next scripture to caveat on everything that you just got finished putting
Go
out
ahead,
there, baby. So this is Hebrews 10 and 23. And once again, back to the Amplified. Let us seize, take hold tightly the confession of our hope without wavering, without vacillating, without having ebb and flow consistently. For he who promised is reliable and trustworthy and faithful to his word.
So he meaning
reliable, trustworthy, and faithful.
So that is a guaranteed money back, guaranteed money back,
100%,
guaranteed 100% guaranteed that if we have trust in God, that He would turn this thing and do it right.
Yes, it.
I'm telling y'all, if God is not at the center, it's going to be an interesting journey.
Yes.
So we just recommend that you put Him at the center to where you will be able to get that hope and that faith back in your life and take the veils off of your eyes.
I like what who's that? Janelle B said. Marriage is for grown-ups. It's with a mature mindset. Yes, you are correct. 100% correct. You have to have a mature mindset, growing together, and to be able to have hope and faith for your situation, especially when you're not able to see it in the now situation.
Well, you have to have a grown mindset when you have to make these adjustments, because these adjustments are not going to be easy when you're trying to regain your hope and faith back in your relationship.
So you say it's going to cost us something?
It's going to cost you. You're going to have some sweat equity in this thing.
Ooh, don't say that word right there.
Yes, you're going to have to when you're making these adjustments. Even when you're single and looking for a mate, you're going to have to make some adjustments, because if you've been single for so long and you haven't had that hope or faith and thinking that God will bring someone, when He does, if you haven't made adjustments, you can damage what He's bringing to you after you've prayed for it because of your mindset.
Yes. I like this next step that we're going to jump into real quick. It says focus on the positive.
Yes.
This is one heavy one that we take a lot of time when we do one-on-one sessions with couples. We're always talking to them about focusing on the positive, especially when they've coming through situations where they have marriage in crisis and they have a lot of negative stuff going on. We're constantly telling them, wait a minute, y'all just had a wonderful moment. Share that again.
Stay
what you
right
just
there.
had. Think about what you just said. And we would applaud them to let them know you had victory in that area. It was a small victory, but you had victory. Focus on the positive when you start making those shifts, start making those changes, making those adjustments. Recognize that God is working. Recognize that and give yourself credit for making adjustments. Because a lot of times we're so focused on the big picture, we're so focused on the end scope and the end goal that we don't look at the small things that help build up.
Yeah, I agree.
Focus on those positive moments.
I agree. And now that the society that we live in, everything is just so negative. You have a dose of negativity all the time. It seems like it's a challenge for people to find something to be positive about. So if you are in that relationship or as a single person trying to find love, you need to really pay attention to those, like as Roderick was saying, those great moments that you have.
Yes.
Those great moments that you have. For those who are married and you have those negative times and you're wanting the relationship to turn around, go back to those moments and remember what got you to the place of where you are, meaning the positive things. What was it that you deposited in each other before you lost that hope and before you lost that faith in your spouse? You have to stay there in that positive mindset and have that. So the other one is, this is a part of regaining hope.
Yes.
You have to, and we're going to talk to the married folk right now.
Yes.
I'm going to still get to you single folks, but you married people.
Yes.
Be intentional with serving each other.
Yes. And I'm a piggyback on what you just said, baby, for that one step, because somebody else put in the chat. Beautiful. I love what you said.
Which one you talking about?
That's all right. I love what you said. Marriage is two people trying to become one flesh. Sacrifice. Serving a lot of times is sacrifice. Serving one another is sacrifice. It's denying yourself for the betterment of your mate.
Wait. So how does me sacrificing and serving you play in regaining my hope and faith?
It's the best, wonderful way of saying to God, God, I know he ain't the best man and perfect man and all these different things. He got his flaws. But you know what? I'm going to trust you, make some adjustments, believe again in what you have shown me and telling me. And I'm going to sacrifice what it is that I feel or think sometimes to go ahead and promote and push him.
Wow.
And in turn, it's going to be reciprocated.
Wow.
Come on now.
Wow.
Come on.
Okay. Wait a minute. So, y'all give me a moment. So when I sacrifice how I feel, my feelings, what I want to say
or do,
because you're not acting right, you're not doing things in the manner that I believe or think you should do. When I sacrifice that, that is going to regain my hope and faith in God.
Let me add another perspective to that. You're sacrificing it with the motive and intention, following God's instruction that he's given you. So that way you can be a witness, a better witness, an effective witness to me in the relationship. And like I said, and reciprocate it when the shoe's on the other foot.
Not too many people want to sacrifice anything in a relationship.
But I mean, that's all about being in a relationship.
I understand.
Whether it's a marriage relationship, friend relationship, somebody has to yield and sacrifice in order for the relationship to constantly go and grow.
Oh, wow. Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's what really makes a relationship grow, a bond and a tight knit. And if just take it from the simplest form, let's just say just two friends. If one in a situation or going through something, they really need to confide or talk to their friend, they give them a call or whatever, that other friend that's being called has to sacrifice their time, has to sacrifice what it is that they have on their agenda, what they have to do be able to be there present in the moment for that other individual, to whether just be a sounding board, to listen, to give advice, encourage, whatever the case may be. There's always some level of sacrifice in any relationship. It takes sacrifice in a relationship for a relationship to be that.
So basically, in other words, I'm just going to do a repeat here. Number one, to regain hope and faith in your marriage, you have to make adjustments in your mind, how you see your spouse, and how you think. I know I said mind and think, but I just want to double that one, because that's where the problem
double down
is.
on it, girl.
Double down on it, because that's where sometimes our issues are. Believe again. Focus on the positive. Be intentional in serving each other. And the next one is have a social support system that encourages you and your spouse in a positive manner to become one. That's going to help you
support system. That's
regain that hope and faith again. Because if you are around and with people in your environment that is not pouring greatness into you and your relationship, regardless of how your relationship is going, whether good, bad, indifferent, or ugly, if they don't promote you to become and to stay one, something is wrong.
As we mentioned in the beginning of this session, That was one of the key factors we had. We had several big brothers and big
Yes, we
sisters
did.
that were constantly pouring into us, that were constantly mentoring us and coaching us through to the point to where we are, where we at today. They had a lot to do with
Oh
it
my.
in them early years, in the early stages. When we couldn't see it, didn't want to see it, they were constantly praying for us,
Mhm.
talking to us, motivating us through it. Oh my goodness. 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, prayer,
Oh,
snotting on the
yes.
floor.
Yes.
Moments.
They actually helped us to regain our hope in one
Yes.
another
Yes.
and have faith that our relationship would get better.
Yes. Having that support system is key.
Mhm.
A positive support system that's going to help you to grow where you need to grow.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then the last one, whoo, this is it.
And we talked about this, I believe, in our last session that we
Yes,
had
we
with y'all.
did.
Prayer.
Woo.
That's right. I'm just going to underline that. Prayer. That is, like we said in that last session, the secret sauce.
Yes, it
That
is.
is the most powerful thing you can do to start off affecting change for your relationship, to where faith and hope can really settle in.
Mhm. I don't know where I would be right now. One thing about Roderick and I, we are very transparent. There is no shame in our game because we have overcome many things. Can't nobody say, do, or say anything in regards to our relationship that we don't already say ourselves. Number one. However, if it wasn't for prayer, us together and individually, we wouldn't be here today.
Mm-hmm. Solid like a rock.
Prayer, solid.
No, we're
Boom.
solid.
It's okay. It's okay. Not right now. Later. But anyway, it is one of those must-have necessities in your relationship.
Yes, it is. It's the sticking glue.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes.
Just like, oh, that's a very good one.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you have a piece of paper and you stick something to that paper with some glue,
Mm-hmm.
it cannot come off unless you push it apart. When you put prayer in your relationship to bring back and restore your hope and faith in your relationship, in being able to find your right spouse, when you put prayer on there, it sticks just like this. Nothing will be able to come in between that unless you tear it apart. Unless you stop praying. Unless you stop believing God that He will bring about a restoration in the relationship.
That's good.
That's real good.
That's good.
Man, I don't know, boy, that's good right there. That's fresh manna from heaven.
Yes, indeed.
But
yes,
let me
indeed.
tell y'all,
oh wow,
it's amazing when you allow yourself. And I'm gonna go over it again. These steps.
Yes.
If you didn't get them,
7 steps, y'all.
It was 6, babe.
I'm sorry.
It was 6. Make adjustments. Your mind, thinking, and how you see your spouse. Believe again. Focus on the positive. Be intentional in serving each other. Have a good social support system and prayer.
Yes.
These are the ways of how you can restore the hope in your marriage and the hope within yourself to know that God will bring you the king that you so desire in your life. Now, if you guys enjoyed,
exercise your faith.
Right.
Exercise. But before you get ready to go, because I know you're getting ready to set it up, I got to give y'all this one last scripture. We had a bunch of scriptures on there, but I got to give you this last one. It is 2 Corinthians 5. 2 Corinthians 5 and 7. Okay. Once again, amplified. For we walk by faith, not by sight, living our lives in a manner consistent with our confident belief in God's promises. I want to throw that one in there to culminate everything that we talked about today. One last time. 2 Corinthians 5 and 7. For we walk by faith, not by sight, living our lives in a manner consistent with our confident belief in God's promises for hope and faith.
That's good. Because you won't be able to do this if you're looking at it with your natural eye.
No.
So you got to walk by faith.
Walk by faith.
We really hope that there was something that was said in this session tonight that really permeated something in your spirit or within you that will help you to regain your hope and your faith within your marriage and within yourself, so you can allow God to stretch you to the point of bringing a spouse to you and restoring your relationship.
Yes.
If you enjoyed this session on tonight, please let us know. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, as we always say. And then also, too, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go ahead to our YouTube channel and subscribe to our channel tonight. And again,
And share.
Yes, please share and
with
invite
others.
people to
Yes.
come on so they too can be able to have a phenomenal relationship.
And don't forget, keep your eyes out looking for that merch that's coming
Right.
out. All right. I know y'all like this sweatshirt. It's getting cool out there. So
Yes.
get them ready. Get your orders ready. Get your sizes ready. And your colors. We're going to be putting it out. Oh, I'm going to leave it right there because I want to give a whole lot out
don't
right
give
now.
too much, babe. You can't give them too much at one time.
I get excited about it.
Yes. But once again, thank you all so much for joining us. And we love you.
Yes, we do.
We enjoy.
This was fun. We miss y'all. I'll go ahead.
You're going to let me finish
Go,
my
girl.
sentence? He's just so excited because he missed y'all.
Yes.
My goodness.
This was fun.
But anyway, we enjoyed y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining us. And we will see you once again. And please enjoy your life and your marriage.
Yes. We're
Get
two
your hope.
hearts. One team with one purpose. Love you.